most good intended people will take a side. But when you take a side, you have to hate another side.
Hate does not drive out hate. Only love does.
Right. In order to bring love, higher vibration, we have to realize there is no separation. When you withdraw from picking sides, you declare the sacredness of free will. Biden and Trump are the same beast.
Right. Opposite sides of the same coin.
Yes. They're part of the system. We participate in that system. When we afford, render, invest thought in one being better, we feed the system because it's fear-based. That's part of the free will.
Yes. That's our opportunity that we have right now.
If we're in heaven, it's boring. No, seriously, what are you going to do? Everything's perfect. Let's go.
And we're back.
Why would Jeffrey Epstein and his cronies, whatever they're called, the ruling class, some may ask, why would they have amassed so much power? Superimposing that with the laws of the universe. That's a great place to start because this is a hot topic right now.
It's a crazy hot topic.
Right? And so I'm asking that, and we'll have a talk. Some have said, because there was a leak he was giving an interview. And I studied that because I wanted to see how he spoke. And people said, well, these people are extremely clever. And yes, but not clever enough. So we'll go into that real quick. But some say, how could that happen? I guess it goes down to this the core question is, why would God allow so much evil?
That is the core question.
I'd love to tackle that. What's your view? Because I have answers.
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is free will.
Exactly. Free will is a sacred foundational piece when we come to Earth. If free will was non-existent, there would not be complexity. There would not be the Earth school. It would be boring. We come here and free will must stand for evolution to take place. Okay? So we agree on that?
Yeah, because love is not love if it's forced.
Exactly.
And if God is love, he's not going to force himself on us.
Right. Well, if you're a parent, you'll understand that.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a relationship, you want authenticity.
Right.
Again, we talk about vibrations. Authenticity is in those higher vibrations, right? So, but how did these people grow while doing so many evil things?
You mean in like wealth and status?
Power.
Power?
Power. Earthly power.
Yeah.
Right? It's no longer conspiracy theory. It's, come on. You have to fight really hard not to say that there is no ruling elite class.
Right.
So let's why would they because some might say, well, what about karma? If they're doing such evil, doesn't that catch up to them?
Right, but there's also a responsibility on the righteous to uphold a certain standard. And many things happen in life because the righteous do nothing. They just stand there and allow things to happen. They don't stand up. They don't actually put effort into what they believe in.
Love that. Here's my take. I think a lot of people are unintentionally supporting
Yeah.
the fear-based system on Earth.
Right.
They're complicit
Yeah.
because they take sides.
Right. Going back to polarity.
If you take a side, because within the fear-based system, there's the quote good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
This good and bad is part of the fear-based system. Most good intended people will take a side. But when you
Right.
take a side, you have to hate another side,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and the funny thing is that it creates a binary system versus seeing it from a 1,000-foot view. So when you take a side, it's almost like those polarities of a battery or anything you look at in nature, up, down, left, right, positive, negative charge. It doesn't do anything. It just keeps it.
It does do something.
Well, yeah, go
It
elaborate on that.
It feeds the fear-based system.
Yes.
This is what I'm talking about.
They feed each other.
The fear-based system needs the polarity.
Well, and to quote Martin Luther King, hate does not drive out hate. Only love does.
Right. In order to bring love, higher vibration, we have to realize there is no separation. When we withdraw our picking of sides, we stop feeding the battery. We stop feeding the fear-based system.
Right?
Now, people will argue and say, well, that's escapism. It's not escapism. It's actually being responsible. When you withdraw from picking sides, you declare the sacredness of free will, first of all. Second of all, you no longer have to hate another side.
Yeah.
If you find something incompassionate and then you're incompassionate to it, you're the same thing.
You're acting the same
Okay.
vibration as that. Yeah.
So you're paying, notice the word paying attention. So attention is a currency. Your currency is thought.
Yeah.
If we give our thoughts to these collective thoughts, bandwagons in the third density system, we're participating in it. So back
Exactly.
to what you were saying, a lot of good people, good meaning people, unintentionally will participate in something they don't know about.
Right.
They don't know that they're actually feeding into it.
Right.
They're not helping it. A lot of people are like a lot of, Iranians right now.
Yeah.
Iranians are going to jump on some bandwagon.
Because of all the chaos. They feel like they have nothing else that they can do but jump on some sort of, ideology that will help.
Exactly.
They think it's going to help.
They think, I got to do something.
Yeah.
They mean well. I'm going to align with the monarchists, get the old flag of, Iran out, and, Reza Pahlavi should be the one. Little do they know they're participating in the same
Right.
system.
Well, and if you look at the history of politics, you see what I call the pendulum, right? It's a Democrat, then it's a Republican, then it's a Democrat, then it's a Republican, because it's that mass psychosis that happens.
Biden and Trump are the same beast.
Right. Opposite sides of the same coin.
Yes. They're part of the system. We participate in that system. When we afford, render, invest thought in one being better, we feed the system because it's fear-based. You have to hate another and you have to cling on to an idea. These are low vibration investments.
Yeah.
So we're perpetuating the cycle. Problems cannot be solved on the level that the problem originates from.
Albert Einstein.
That's right. So what we're saying is you do your own research, people who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
You may find yourself you're likely going to be on one of those.
One side or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And you think that's the side of Jesus.
Right.
It's not. There is another strategy if we want to help Earth graduate. We have to audit. We have to do an audit. So I implore you, do an audit of your thoughts. Where are we investing those thoughts?
Yeah.
Because if we're investing thoughts, if we're just giving our money away, metaphor, to a charity, and we assume the charity is doing good,
Yeah.
and we don't audit that, then assumption is the mother of all sins, mistakes.
Yeah.
So I'm asking ourselves, let's audit. If I'm judging one group over another, I'm feeding the beast.
Right.
What's the opposite of that? Withdraw.
Withdraw your energy.
It's not escapism. It's responsiveness.
Well, and in all reality, if you're honest with yourself, like, haven't you changed your mind over the years? Haven't you sided with one party or another and then maybe decided, wait, that doesn't really fit with what I believe to be true or with what aligns with my life? And so in that same note, life is not black and white. There is no specific political party that is going to be 100% right because life is not black and white. That's just reality.
Love it. Now let's talk about what happens when we withdraw from the rat race. Because you're right. In retrospect, you can look and say, they're all a bunch of buffoons. I was fooled.
Yeah.
I was fooled.
You thought someone was right, and then, they get elected, and you see what they do, and you're going, wait a minute.
Because the originators of this current system, the fear-based system, it was commenced, the genesis of what we have today was started from that original part of how we have it today. So we can't solve the problem from that same arena.
Yeah.
So the withdrawal is saying, oh, wait a minute, I'm not giving to this charity anymore. I've done a self-audit. I'm taking my thoughts back.
Yeah.
My currency, I'm taking it back. And I'm reinvesting that into the now,
Right.
into the kingdom.
Powerful.
So now we compound interest. I'm using metaphors because our thoughts are currency. We're not feeding the system. We're upholding the sacred right of free will. We're taking back our power, our thoughts, our currency, reinvesting it here. And here is the now.
Yeah.
Notice something. Whatever is in the future or in the past is an assumption based on fear.
Well, in most of media, if you watch most of media, it's all assumptive. 90%. So they take little facts that they research, right? And then they elaborate on those facts based on an opinion. And then those opinions follow certain cycles, right? And then you have the left side, the right side, different outlets that have their own opinions. And then that forms a mass opinion to those who subscribe to those specific media outlets.
And then those mass opinions are collective mass opinions that are fear-based. There's many of them. They're clouds.
Most of them are fear-based.
And then you then subscribe to them. So unintentionally, you're a subscriber to fear-based systems.
Yeah.
That's why the earth has not yet graduated. You understand?
Yeah, because everyone's living in fear because all they watch on 99% of media is fear-based outcomes and fear-based narratives.
This conversation right now, today, from the perspective of the fear-based system, is frightening.
Yeah.
it's terrible for them to think if people disengaged with our system, they wake up and they disengage, it's upheaval for them.
Right.
The only thing that's holding them up is our participation, because we're not aware of this idea of investing thought. We think, it's just a thought. I'm going to side with them because this is erroneous.
Well, and legacy media used to be something that people trusted a long time ago. Some people still do, as fact, right? But nowadays, it's like you don't even know what you're looking at anymore. So to disengage from that, it completely changes your disposition in society and in the now. So all of those narratives that they try to implant in your brain about the other, whatever side that is, right? The other. This person thinks this because they're red or blue, and because they're red or blue, they're against me, right? And so you go to the grocery store and you're buying groceries, and you instinctively, without even thinking, see someone that triggers you because you were fed a lie, a narrative that is so black and white that there's no way it's applicable in real life. It's like it just completely distorts your reality in the now.
You lose the now because you're then taken to a future and a past which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So again, you're thinning out your currency. So it goes beyond, it transcends the media. It happens in our daily. So as we advance in this meditation, we then apply that same concept, same strategy to the everyday.
Yeah.
And as we continue to withdraw or divest from these subscriptions, we compound the interest and we become wealthy in the now. Now we show up to life and our vibration has changed.
Right.
We become more conductive to Christos,
Right.
to pure consciousness. We become a PEO, a person of interest, or POI rather. We become a person of interest from a spiritual language perspective. We become the virgins with the oil. We become the vessels that have prepared their nervous system for the channeling of what Christ taught,
Yeah.
of what Buddha taught.
The highest first. Love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself.
But
This is the primary command.
amen. But we have to demonstrate that.
Yeah.
It's not just, I believe and say a couple things and then that's it. That's not how it works.
Well, and that, to your point, it's like if you're so caught up with these narratives, your signal, so to speak, to God himself is muddied. It's distorted because you're so caught up, like you said, with future and past that you are not able to love God and neighbor and yourself, right? Because it's distorted with all of this chaos.
You've inhibited.
Yeah.
There is much more available, but we're inhibiting that fullness to come through. Now, let's continue. When the individual, the aspirant, I say, recognizes this, does the self-audit, withdraws, becomes non-judgmental, doesn't mean they condone evil.
No.
They realize the flaw within it, and they realize it's not ultimate reality. So they now are not feeding the system anymore. The system is loosening its grip. That's what's actually happening right now. What else? That individual now, when developing the now, breaking free from the ego mind of the future and the past, like we said, compounds interest metaphor within, becomes powerful and shows up to life with more vibration of compassion, love, truth, freedom, what happens next is another thing happens. That person now contributes with the collective, which is lesser, has been lesser, but contributes to the collective of bringing in this higher love. This is the red letters in the gospel love I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not what Paul wrote. I don't really care what Paul wrote.
Yeah.
This is going to offend a lot of people. I don't really care.
I'm more interested in what Jesus himself
Exactly.
said.
So Jesus didn't come to create a religion.
No. He's
But
the
he-
one that was flipping over the tables.
Yes, he was the way. Political rebel, let's call him, but many things. But he demonstrated the way. Okay. We now, it's our turn to rise up. And so the way to do that is what we're discussing today.
Yeah.
How do we stop feeding the system? Because it's powerless if we do our self-audit. I'm just using this term. I'm not a Scientologist. I don't know what, they might use that word.
Reflection, maybe?
No, it's an audit.
So-
Take an audit of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because your thoughts are powerful. Speaking of Paul, some things he said were also poignant. He said, some things are legal, but not all things are profitable. And he also said, take every thought captive.
Yeah.
There's the power of thought.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking us to do, and I do this, is where are my thoughts? Because that's the currency. So anyways, to usher in the harvesting of our planet, bringing in the kingdom of heaven, means that we are it. We are here to bring about the harvest. In other words, we have to continue our evolution,
Yeah.
right?
And you can't continue your evolution if you're always on that high horse saying that I'm right and you're wrong. Because that never connects you to your neighbor. If you're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, how are you supposed to do that if you're constantly trying to tell them that they're wrong? Whether they're of any religion, any sect, any political affiliation, it doesn't get you anywhere.
So Epstein and his cronies, they also discovered some of the rule sets of the planet.
Yeah.
So these people have free will, and they've chosen service to self. So there's two things. There's two things on the planet. I'm gonna just, get to the
Root of it.
the root of it, the visceral part of it. There's two groups on Earth. One is service to others. That's where we are.
Yes.
Love, light, service to others. The other group, who also has the right to exercise their free will, obviously, God allows it, is service to self. That's why these people, the 1%, if there's 8 billion people, 1%, they're in charge right now. These are the people that worship Satan, they drink blood, they do all kinds of gross, disgusting, ritualistic things. But they're limited. They're limited to what we're talking, the energy and the frequency we're talking about. They can't go past a certain amount. In other words, every knee will bow.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
These people can also graduate into having power, and we've seen that. We've seen, whether it's, obviously we see that today.
Dark energy.
Dark energy exists. Don't be fooled. It does exist. But it's not. It has a limit.
Yeah.
Those who are of the Christ, who allow themselves to be conduits of love, light, unconditional love
Right.
and forgiveness, we bring in a greater energy and we help the earth go to a level 2 civilization. Right now, we're a level 1 civilization.
Right.
So that is available, and I believe that we have the opportunity today to do that. So that's what I'm sharing. That's what we're sharing with you today. We're sharing with you that thoughts matter.
Yeah, and I think God allows a certain level of darkness, one, for free will, but also two, for the demonstrable ability to show the world the real power of love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Jesus did in his life. But there had to be some sort of dramatic moment for humanity to be like a reckoning almost, for humanity to realize the gravity of the love that he brought, right? And if you look throughout history, you see that happen over and over and over again.
There are naysayers right now listening going, yeah, right. You know, like, it sounds good on paper, but what's the reality? That's what you're getting to. Yeah, well, I can tell you. Gandhi did it.
Yeah.
He overthrew the British onset of freedom, right? Nelson Mandela did it.
Yes.
Martin Luther King did it.
Yes.
Not too long ago, we were
But
very
all of those things were born out of darkness. It was darkness that was the catalyst. God allowed the darkness to happen, but that darkness was the catalyst in order to create and demonstrate.
That's part
love.
of the free will.
Yes. That's our opportunity that we have right now.
If we're in heaven, it's boring. No, seriously, what are you going to do? Everything's perfect.
I mean, it sounds good though.
No. It's just, everything's perfect. There's no complexity. I think the intrinsic nature of beings, which are part of pieces of consciousness, pieces of God. We are pieces of God. The intrinsic nature of God is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is to know more, to be aware of more. So God wants to know in infinite ways love. And it creates Jamies, Mikes, Cashes, all these people.
Right.
Because each being that comes to this third density and works through catalysts and chooses love over self-righteousness contributes to the evolution and the intrinsic nature of God and consciousness. That's it. This is what I have been able to witness through direct experience by getting my physiology and nervous system clearer.
Yeah.
So that I can have more information, more data.
Yeah.
I'm using scientific language to express this because this is such an abstract conversation when we're talking about consciousness. So I'm using metaphors today. As we clear our instrument, I call it the apparatus.
Our body. Very important.
We're able to hone in on clarity. And we're able to see things that we couldn't see before. And we're able to receive things that we couldn't receive before. And then we can course correct based on that data.
Right.
And then enhance. And then we can bring more to society, which is what we're doing. And then that can inspire other beings to wake up. Because that's what it is. We have to remember who we are.
Yeah.
When we come here, the second component of foundational rules on Earth, catalyst, Earth, third density, besides free will, the second one is forgetting who we are. There's a veil of forgetting.
Yeah.
So we don't remember, because if we remembered who we were, we would game the system. There has to be a strong survival mechanism. And we have to break through that.
Right. And everyone has their own journey,
Mm-hmm.
their own programming or social, issues as they're growing up. There's a lot of psychology that happens us as humans when we live in society as we do today. As children, like Jesus said, be like these little children. Why? Because before the age of 7, we're not programmed. We know who we are. We're children of God. We're happy. We're just kind of innocent, right? But then after the age of 7, psychology proves that the brain starts developing in a certain way and they start receiving things as their identity, even if it's not their identity. Somebody says something to you or somebody, looks at you the wrong way or whatever, and you receive that as identity, but you don't realize that in the moment because your brain is so fresh and so new. So as you grow older, you just accept that as reality. And then you don't realize that you've compounded all of these things over the years to be your identity.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not you. So when you return, as Jesus said, be like these little children. When you return to who you are, which is a child of the living God, then magic starts to happen. Just like, wow, all of these layers, you kind of start to, like you say, self-audit, all of these layers of who I thought I was. I'm from this place or this country or I speak this language or whatever I had to struggle through.
Tribalism.
Yeah, tribalism. Whatever I had to struggle through as I was growing up is so different from this person or that person. But in all reality, if you boil it down to like the root level, we're all the same.
That is a higher state of consciousness.
Yeah.
That this fallen world is an illusion. The Vedic tradition calls it the Maya. In computer science, it's a virtual reality.
Yeah.
And to wake up in Christianese, that's called being born again. Now, being born again is a direct experience. It's not a belief that you're born again. No. This is where religion, exoteric, there's the exoteric, modern day religion, then there's the esoteric, spiritual knowing. The exoteric is based on belief, which is, it's a step. But as the individual matures in the intimacy and more fear comes out, first of all, you'll be faced with fear. And you will have to recognize that that fear is your corridor.
It's your catalyst.
It's your catalyst.
Yeah.
See, we look at fear wrong, I think, in the past.
100%.
The exoteric looks at it as something different. But a clearer perception of that shows us these are bundle packages to our next
Bundle packages.
echelon.
Yeah. On the other side of fear is always your next level.
We have to go through it.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful because fear is false evidence appearing to be real. It's an assumption that we have given it power.
Yeah.
But we go through it. And to be born again is a direct experience. So the esoteric is all about the direct experience. It's becoming as Jesus, becoming as the guru.
Yeah.
That then leads you to a lack of separation, non-duality in Christian language. At-one-ment.
Yeah. At one with God.
Atonement.
Yeah.
Atonement. Not where you just, there are rituals about that, but I'm afraid if those rituals do not create a direct experience, which goes back to the nervous system, then it doesn't have the magnitude to constitute a born-again experience.
Well, because rituals can become habitual, right? So if you're used to going to a synagogue or whatever your
Yeah.
preference is, that becomes habitual. And at a certain point, it's your autonomic nervous system automates it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you're not as engaged, not because you don't want to be necessarily, but just like you drive a car down the road the same way every day to work, you forget where you're going because your body knows, right? So if your body knows and you are automatically brushing your teeth, driving to work, whatever it is, those rituals turn into that at a certain point, and then you kind of go into this lull.
And those become insurance policies. Religion becomes insurance. I do this because I don't want to go to hell, or whatever the theology is.
That's very true. A lot of people treat religion or spirituality as an insurance policy.
When you talked about how it becomes habitual,
Yeah.
this is, if I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen, then religion would be, like, the earth wouldn't be where it is. Okay?
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So because people get into the habitual part of it, and religion is then more like an insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it was intended for. It's intended for us to break the veil of separation, recognize the truth that we are one. We are droplets of the ocean being God. We're here to conductively bring forth the vibration of unity and love and assist others in rising up and overcoming this dream. It's just a dream. It's not ultimate reality.
Right.
So there's strategies to... So anyways, as far as that's concerned, Epstein and all these things, if you want to do, if somebody wants to do really well for the Iranians out there, and I'm just picking Iran because I'm from Iran and I know a lot of Iranians that are, struggling with this. The best way to help them
Mm-hmm.
is to not siphon your energy of thought, which is your currency, into picking sides, because that's a trap.
Yeah.
Withdraw and compound your thought currency in the now, and then direct it to a unity consciousness level that also exists. Then, through leverage, we change the entire globe, not just Iranians, but all humans. And the way that looks is that once a collective amount of people like us, like you, who decide to take back their power of thought into the now, magically, in the database, if you will, of other human beings, they will instantly have better options to choose from. Picture a drop down.
Yeah.
And there'll be like all these, usual reactions: vengeance, hate, whatever. The huge. But then there'll be new ones: forgiveness, compassion, and they will be available. And I'm just using it as a metaphor, but that's how we use leverage in helping the planet rise up and usher in a new kingdom of unity and unconditional love. So that's possible. And that's
definitely
that's kind of what we're talking about. That's the strategy to use.
Mm-hmm.
And because then you affect change individually, in your society, locally, and then that's the cascading or the domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
So what does all this
have to do with insurance?
Well, everything. Because we apply this type of approach, wherever you're planted in life, that is your ministry. So you're administering something.
Yeah.
So if you're on the side of service to others, then wherever you're planted is your ministry.
Yeah.
So obviously we have great spiritual hunger as people. So we didn't create a different island for our spiritual life and then, a different island for our professional life. The Fadaie way is to merge those
Yeah.
and create the best insurance agency in the world.
And what does that mean? Some people, that's a very foreign concept.
It means loving what you do and doing what you love.
And loving the people you work with.
It's all about, it's love. It's love-based.
Very simple.
I say heart-centered in episodes before.
Yeah.
You're planted there and you're administrating love into your agency or your branch. If you invest in a Fadaie franchise, you're grafting into this type of ecosystem. Have you ever gone on a field trip to a prison?
Yeah.
When you went to the prison, did you feel anything? What did you feel?
Gosh, it was a long time ago. There's definitely a strong energy there, for sure. A little bit of chaos. Some hope, because we were there. It was a ministry thing. Yeah, it's a very interesting experience.
So when I've gone to different prisons, I felt choked up, like fear, a lack of freedom. Okay. So my point in this exercise is when you go to an ecosystem, in this case prison, you can feel it. You can feel the charge of it. You can feel the energy of it. You could also extend that to company. If you have company over and one of the people that was invited has vibes, maybe they're creepy, like Jeffrey Epstein. Mm-hmm. You can sense that vibe, right? And if you then continue relating with that vibe, you then are grafted into that vibe.
You become accustomed to it. Yeah.
You become accustomed to it and you're agreeing to it. You're yielding to it.
Right.
So the opposite is true also. Mm-hmm. When you go to an ashram, when you go to a holy place, when you go to a place of piousness, devotion, forgiveness, right? You feel the energy. Have you ever been to a place like that where you felt?
Yeah, like a cathedral.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the intention and that's packed into that place.
Yeah. The sense of awe.
Has a charge. Yeah. So we feel that as human beings, intuitively. So that's the difference with Fadaie. Fadaie is like this cathedral-like vibe. It's not a cathedral, it's an insurance agency, but it has that vibe of higher states of consciousness elements.
Like respect, honor, integrity, transparency.
But most importantly, trust.
Yeah.
And this is what separates us from, people say, well, most millionaires became millionaires because of real estate. Cool. But there's something missing with real estate, in my opinion, compared to the insurance industry.
What do you think that is?
Well, let's unpack it. A real estate investor buys a home, fixes it up, rents it out. The only good thing from that is profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
You could argue it's residual because they're renting it out perpetually.
fine. I'll give you that. That's all good. Nothing bad with that. It's clever. But when you compare that to insurance, my consumer, the mechanism where we scale, there's meaning behind it. That meaning is trust, affordance.
Yeah.
So if somebody trusts the agent with their most precious assets, which they have emotional connection with because they sacrificed in life for their spouse, their offspring. Now you get to protect that. Do you see the ceremony there, the exchange?
Definitely.
On Maslow's pyramid,
Hierarchy of needs.
that's another reason I think the insurance industry, retail broker industry that we're in, is it brings more meaning. So somebody who's
Because you're protecting someone in essence, right?
they're trusting you,
Yeah.
you know, and that exchange hits you in the heart. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that means I am of truth because they're trusting me. So they're holding me accountable to be truthful. And I have a reputation of 20 years to uphold of being truthful. That is something that's set apart than investing money in a stock market. Because the sole thing in that is just to accumulate interest and residual income. Now, you can be a real estate investor, make money, and then use it for benevolent causes. I'm not saying,
Of course, yeah.
but I'm saying at its core value, insurance has more of a humanitarian meaning to it. So if there's a person who wants to invest in a Fadaie franchise, become an insurance franchise owner, not only can they reap the benefits of residual income, immune from inflation, recession-proof, pure flexibility, they can also garner spiritual meaning, which is powerful in the if you want to be an entrepreneur and have it all.
Yeah.
You know, I think insurance is the way. It's the best way, because you know you're selling insurance, but you're affording assurance, right? And there's meaning for that, and I think that is how we tie in our earlier conversation about, are we also fulfilling why we came to Earth? If we can be in a profession that can foster more catalyst for us to make free will decisions to bring about the kingdom of love, it's a double whammy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe what we're offering and who we are is this sort of accelerator, simulator
Yeah.
of spiritual and financial uptick.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think half the gospel has to do with money.
Yeah. It's referred to, I think, over 500 times.
So
Because it's a tool.
it's a tool.
It's a tool that's used in society to further whatever goal or trajectory you're on.
And you know where people go wrong with money?
Where?
So when money has them, that's evil. That becomes service to self.
Right.
But when you have money, that's a different story.
Being a steward.
Stewardship,
Yeah.
right? And so there's a big difference there. And, you know, there's three major temptations for mankind. Number one is the temptation of food. If we can't control our temptation for food, that means we have power over it. Just like money. Either food has power over us or we have power over food.
That's a huge one.
Huge one, but people will play that down as, hey, I'm just eating. It's not a sin.
Well, and it's more, I think the crux of that particular one is that people don't realize is they tie their emotional state to food, which is a fallacy. Because most of the time, if you think about it, I mean, even if you personally think about it, what's the thing or food that comes to mind? Probably something that your mom or your grandmother made when you were a child that brings back memories or, you know, your culture or whatever it is that you associate it with. So that therefore becomes your temptation because you're associating that particular food with a memory. It doesn't really have to do with the food necessarily. Now there's biochemical things that happen, but most of the time what it is it's an emotional connection with that trigger, with that food.
And when the relationship is that way, you are powerless.
Exactly.
And so you're inhibited from being that strong conduit to usher in more love and truth and unity. So that's one area that, and I'm talking about, you know, after you get off the pew and you want to grow spiritually.
Yeah.
So the second temptation is going to be money and fame.
Notoriety.
That's right. And this is the second area.
Which is essentially pride, right?
Pride, right? And unless you overcome that, you can be compromised. That's what happened to these politicians.
Well, and I think what it is at its core, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what it is that people tie money to self-worth and a sense of whether or not they can be proud of themselves, right? Like their identity is very much tied to it. And so that's why even during some of the recessions or COVID or whatever, when people lost everything during recession, they committed suicide because it was completely tied to their identity.
Right. And it's a misidentity.
Right, because they didn't realize that they have an innate birthright. They have an innate self-worth instilled in them from birth.
So they're identifying with this phantom reality, identity. It's the ego identity. It's the fallen identity. You see?
Yeah.
And so this is how money and fame and pride also has you compromised.
Yeah.
So the first one was food, very subtle. Second one is
Money.
The third one, big one, sexual lust.
Yeah.
Big one. And
Again, another distortion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because these are hardwired in the survival mechanism. And so it's a really easy way for the fear-based system to hack into the individual.
Yeah.
Crazy statistics out there. I'm not gonna pick on any one religion here, because no judgment. People are growing up, but in most the exoteric religion, the religious systems, there's a big struggle in pornography.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, these are three areas that if we decide to grow up, we got to work through those, and that comes through self-control, one of the fruits of the Spirit.
Exactly. Well, and I think just to parlay on that, sex is supposed to be sacred. And I think we've lost that in our society because of the taboo in religious societies. There's a taboo. And there's not a lot talked about in religious societies when it comes to sex. There's very, very little. And then In secular society, it's praised and used to sell things. So it's very distorted. There's no middle ground. There's no balance it per se when it comes to that particular topic, which is a shame, because when it's sacred, when it's practiced in a way that God intended, it's beautiful.
Let me add my take on it. This is what people are missing again. So I'd like to talk about it. This is from direct experience. I don't read this stuff and then, speak it out here. Sexual energy can be harvested
Yeah.
through esoteric practice, through fasting, through overcoming temptation.
Yes.
You will become free. And then this sexual power, which is powerful to give life horizontally, it gives life. Vertically, it gives life to truth, to unity. When the individual, a lot of you haven't heard this before, but we're going to go into.
That'll have to be another podcast.
We're going to go into something very sacred. And
Yes.
this is what the ruling class doesn't want you to hear, or you can hear it, but they don't want you to practice it, because you will be undivided when you do. So sexual power can be channeled upward, just as it gives life to an offspring when engaged in intimacy. It can also be used for intimacy with the Lord. And when that happens, you then accelerate who you truly are. That's the kingdom of heaven within. Not saying that's the only way, but that becomes one of the ways where the individual slowly but surely changes their nervous system, changes their physiology,
Yeah.
gets into gets out of the fear, flight, and freeze mode, and comes into this other nervous system where the heart opens up,
The parasympathetic.
the throat opens up so you can voice that. Your pineal gland, your spiritual gland, coordinates with your pituitary gland and melatonin, so you're able to get deeper states of rest.
Yes.
It affects your meditation, so you can go deeper, even deeper in that state. You have more vivid dreams.
Yes.
Then you then have the power to say no to food for a period of time, continue to exercise self-control. No, I get to choose when I eat.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to masturbate. I get to choose when, where, and with whom I can have sacred exchange. This is what's expected from a master like Jesus
Yes.
to its students, the disciples. Jesus talked about wake up, stop sleeping. Metaphorically, he meant wake up. Wake up. You have everything.
You have everything you need.
It's
The
latent.
kingdom of heaven is within.
It's within. It's just that you have not activated it because you're subscribing to belief systems. You can only go as high as the person preaching on that platform.
Yeah.
It's humans. It's belief systems. I'm asking you and encouraging you to come out and have a direct experience. And from that direct experience, the born again spirit, you will have the peace that surpasses understanding. And then that in itself will give you the right next steps
Yeah.
to continue to refine that peace that surpasses understanding experience. You stabilize it.
Yes.
You stabilize it. And then when you stabilize it, that becomes your default mode.
Yeah.
In the waking state, in the dreaming state, And in the sleep state, you then come into this new state where literally your brain wave changes
Yeah.
into alpha 1 and gamma throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's when you stabilize the peace that surpasses understanding. Now you're in the present moment. No longer are you tempted to allow the ego mind to take you away into these assumptive things. No, you have you divest from it. You look at it and go, oh, another silly, whatever. Don't even judge the thought. It's just ego mind thinking of something, but you're sourced.
Yeah.
You have a foundation.
Well, and that affects your speech, right? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds.
Mm-hmm.
From the thoughts come words. And as the scripture says, or many, I'm sure, from many traditions, but the one I'm thinking of is life and death is in the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So be careful what you speak of.
Mm-hmm.
First, take your thoughts captive. Then comes your speech.
Yeah, because when you're stabilized and you're thinking as God would, right? Because you're surrendered, then what comes forth out of your mouth, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the Father's. That was the first temptation, food.
Yes.
But now what comes out is righteous speech.
Yes.
Right? Not a curse. It's a blessing. A blessing comes out. When a blessing comes out, the next thing that follows is the right action. So we make less mistakes in life. And when you make less mistakes in life, that's a great KPI.
Yeah.
You begin to aggregate cause and effect. What you reap is what you sow.
Yes.
This is how we, as insurance brokers with Fadaie Insurance, apply ourselves to this ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching this video, this podcast, we invite you to take a closer look.
Yeah.
Because you can have it all. You can have financial freedom by being involved in this amazing industry. You can have a successful relationship with your spouse, with your children, if you have any. You can have a solid nervous system and physiology. Of course, you have to apply it, but this is the ecosystem anyways, like we talked about earlier. You can have a strong mental life. You'll know what to do with your emotions. Those are energy in motion. You'll have forgiveness for family members, familial success.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't matter what religion or faith you're part of. You don't have to change anything. You just become a better of whatever you are.
Yeah.
When you change, when you make adjustments on the inner,
Yes.
you can bring more light and love to your congregation. Right? And so, that's what we're all about, and that's what we've been practicing. Now, we've been doing this for 20 years, so the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
So, I'm not asking anybody to do something that I haven't done myself. And I think that's the part of the Fadaie franchise opportunity when you invest. It is a sort of master to student tradition. So it's an impartation. And so that's what you can look forward to, if you join our team. And
yeah, because you said the first 10 get one-on-ones with you.
Absolutely.
Right?
You'll be working with me directly in the dojo. Nobody offers that. Usually the founders or the CEOs, they send their people.
Yeah.
But it's a great idea to work with the person who knows the blueprint personally, directly.
Yeah.
Now, after the 10, I'm already thinking of clever ways to continue being one-on-one.
Yeah.
Because as I hire trainers, I could then take back more of my time and then selectively use it with the new franchisees. Because we want to create the most set apart amongst our competition, like Goosehead, We Insure Group, and Brightway. You know, the vision that we have is that we're set apart. We're the quality of the franchises.
We want to create a community of people who are of the same mindset, want to live holistically, want to better the world that we live in.
And the reason we want to do that, one of the reasons is we want to let you know that AI cannot compete with an awakened human being.
True.
Thank you for joining us, Fadaie Franchise. We'll see you next week.